Now, the National Coordinator of the National Counter-Terrorism Center, Major General Adamulaka, says more than 300 repentant terrorists are currently undergoing rehabilitation. He made the announcement in Abuja during a high-level meeting with stakeholders and donors. Laka explained that this effort is part of the government's ongoing de-radicalization and reintegration program under Operation Safe Corridor. However, concerns have risen regarding a growing number of former Boko Haram members bypassing the official rehabilitation and directly reintegrating into local communities. Also, some have been known to return to their deviant ways, and others have been uncovered as moles. Let's dissect this issue now as former Nigerian Army spokesman, retired Brigadier General Sani Usman discusses the effectiveness so far of the rehabilitation and reintegration of repentant Boko Haram insurgents and reviews the fight against insurgency. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsday this afternoon. Now, this issue has become a matter of great discuss and opposing opinions as well, considering the fact that many are still not very settled on the idea that any Boko Haram member, former or not, should be reintegrated into society, especially as a result of the damage done. Whereas with some other people, there is belief that maybe this could be a way to salvage the insecurity situation in Nigeria. Before we begin to even talk about whether or not this Operation Safe Corridor works, where do you stand on the rehabilitation of former Boko Haram members into society?
Yeah, good afternoon, and thank you for having me on the program. And I can understand the concern by, Nigerians, especially well-meaning Nigerians about this kind of initiative. But what I want you to understand is that we have to look at the circumstances that brought about some of these people being, in the Boko Haram terrorists or insurgent groups, so to speak. Some of them were, conscripted, some of them were forced. If you could recall, way back at the onset of it, the village, they attack villages and communities. They cut away valuables as well as able-bodied men and women, and they subject them to so many things. Some of them, they were made to fight. Some were foot soldiers, and so on. Some of them were performing menial duties against their wills and all the rest. So when you look at it from that perspective, that it is not everybody that subscribed to the religious belief of the Boko Haram or the ideology, so to speak. They were there against their will. So due to concerted effort and, of course, appeal, they were made to understand that really there is life beyond the Boko Haram insurgency, and some of them decided to voluntarily lay down their arms or to come back. To come out. I could remember way back, I was even in the service in Burma and all the rest. Hence, that brought about the initiative of the Operation Safe Corridor that is being carried out. And so far, about 3,200 have passed through the program, and with less than 1% recidivism, of the activities. And that goes a long way to speak volume about the success or otherwise of the program. However, just like any other thing, I think the impediment is that there is a communication gap. Communication gap in the sense that when you are confronted with security challenge of this magnitude, kinetic approach alone cannot solve the problem. Therefore, you have to have a combination of the carrot and stick. And part of this combination is what we are witnessing with the Operation Safe Corridor. Now, if you look at it, insurgency everywhere and terrorism, conflicts generally, hardly you resolve them, through, forceful means. Sometimes we end up at a negotiating table and all the rest of them. And we are having a unique way in the sense that in Nigeria, we have an unprecedented number of these fighters that decided to renounce violence and voluntarily laid down their arms. And in fact, a part of the international convention, you cannot do, you cannot harm them. So, but I can understand the need for justice and all the rest, hence, this process. So you should distinguish between those that are really hardcore, those that believe in the ideology of Boko Haram, and those that were conscripted. And those that were conscripted are those people that are undergoing this program thus far. And it's a rigorous program that it is not just the military, it's a combination of so many other stakeholders being brought on board as, medicals, development experts, clergies, and so on. And there are procedures and, of course, buy-in from the communities and what have you. And now they have even gone away, a way further, apart from integration and all the rest. But after integration, what next? Because some of them, they were unemployed. Some of them, they were having their own trades and all the rest of them. And I can understand even now the international tropical agriculture is coming in the country rep is coming to see how best they can also enhance their agricultural skill and all the rest. So it's a welcome development. However, a lot needs to be done in the sense that there is need to conscientize Nigerian society about the benefits of that kind of program, because you cannot kill all of them at the same time. Justice should be done depending on the level of involvement of these insurgents or terrorists. Somebody who has been conscripted. Talk of people that have been in, the Chibok girls and so many other people. You cannot blame them because they are forced into it. So, and we will be unfair to them if they lay down their arm and they renounce this, and the society ought to see how best they can, integrate them into the society through a particular, through a process which is being done as it is. But of course, those of them that are deeply involved, you of course know the program in Giwa Barracks about, I think, the 7th batch are undergoing trial as it is. So people should understand the difference between those people undergoing Operation Safe Corridor in Malan City and those who are facing trial. And of course, naturally, everybody should be concerned. And you are even putting it mildly, the issue of, the atrocities they have committed. For the past 15 years, you know what is happening. And in fact, if you go to places like Bama and all the rest, Kondogan, you will weep. You will weep in the sense that there is nothing, absolutely nothing. Not even, electric, street lamp. That is spared. Talk less of businesses, petrol stations, schools, places of worship, markets, hospital, and all the rest. They were destroyed. And we are not even talking about the invisible scars, the relationship that has been, soured, because under normal circumstances, especially in the northern part, among the Muslims, anytime somebody says Salaam Alaikum, of course you are obliged to assist and support him. But this time around, you have to look at him or her twice. Just to tell you, so a lot of damage has been done. And so it is understandable. And so there is so much need that need to be done
Usman,
to, communicate. Yeah.
Yeah, permit me to interject at this point in time for the brevity of time. But
all right,
some would say that what you're postulating is against the principles of justice, equity, and good conscience. Yeah. Because when you look at the fabric of our society and the laws that do govern us, be it the penal or the criminal code, there is a Latin maxim that says, ignoratum non excusant. That means the ignorance of the law is not an excuse for you not to be punished by the law. And aiding and abetting is also a massive crime under law. So if you say that because these people were victims or they were victims of situation, we've had people who have also been victims of situation face the full wrath of the law. If we make excuses for them, then we should make excuses for everyone, probably who has been a victim of situations, regardless of their complicity in any crime. What do you make of this?
Well, you see, we are saying almost the same thing. Before you interjected, I was talking about, communication gap, the issue for justice and all the rest. And if you are going to talk about that, you look at the extant legislations about, the anti-terrorism acts and all the rest of them. When you look at it, at the same time, you also look at this peculiar circumstances. Now, for crying out loud, this one you have just said, if, for instance, any one of the Chibok girls that have been abducted over decades now is, rescued or voluntarily decide to come out, for instance. So do you talk about justice in respect of such people?
But if she picks up an arm,
exactly.
if she picks up an arm,
it's a different situation.
If she picks up an arm and is part of the process,
so what?
Does that exonerate her from the crimes against humanity?
And aside from that, we're talking about Boko Haram terrorists that carried arms. We're not talking about girls who were abducted from their classrooms here.
I'm coming, please. If only you will listen the way I listen to you, we will come to that aspect. Now, I just use that as an example. And I happen to, among those people who fought against the insurgency. I was there for a year, 2014, 2015, and I know what happened when Burma fell and so many other places, the circumstances. And in any case, there is nothing religious about it. People were conscripted, people were forced. You may not believe it, and I will tell you this. And the people who recaptured Burma from Boko Haram, they will tell you when they were there. The central mosque in front of the Shehu of Burma's mosque, palace, what did they see in that mosque? It was Boko Haram that was there, but I can rest assure you they saw condom and so many other things. So it is not religious. People were high in drugs, doing all sorts of things because they have the power of the gun. They conscripted people, forced them into so many things, inhuman things. So basically now somebody has an opportunity to come out and said with utmost sincerity that he had not been associated, he had been there against his will. Now what do? Do you kill the person? Yes, you have to, and you have to, verify his claim and all the rest, and those are the processes. And what I was saying is that a lot is being done, and unfortunately, it is not being communicated properly. Okay. So that is what I'm saying. And of course, when you are involved, now I'm coming. It may surprise you that there are even African countries that are coming to study the model that we are having. And these are the kind of things that we should put out there. And of course, like I said, no system is perfect.
I agree.
There is need for buy-in of people so that they will understand, so that the issue of justice, I wholeheartedly subscribe to the issue of justice, not only to the victims of these atrocities, but even to the perpetrators of the crime.
Well, we hear you, former Nigerian Army spokesman, retired Brigadier General Sani Usman. Your points are noted. Thank you for your thoughts on this discussion.